Hello, welcome back. So today I want to talk about something that I think is really cool. I've been wanting to make this video for a little while, and I'm excited that I'm finally having the space and time to do it. So I want to talk about something called the Lightworkers Council, or at least this is what my guides have been calling it. So this is something that I actually offer in my coaching program, but I have really felt inclined to offer it in a more wide scale because I think it's going to be really beneficial to people to be able to do this and to dip into this part of our remembrance so that we can start stepping into our soul missions in a really more expansive and beautiful way. So the Lightworkers Council is something that we experience in our life between lives, specifically the in between our last lifetime and this lifetime. And so we spend a certain amount of time, however long we need, in the in between, where we are reviewing our last life and kind of what we learned from that, the lessons and everything we're gleaning from that life. Then we go into this process of, maybe it was a really intense life and we need to rest for a while and our soul is in a sense of deep rest. And we might go into, then figuring out what we want our next life to look like and who we're going to make contracts with and connect with and all the stuff we want to experience and learn and carry out in this current lifetime. So for those of you who consider yourself a light worker, a star seed, whatever you want to call it, there's this additional process that I've been shown several times that we go through, and this is the Lightworkers Council. So this is a group of souls or beings that kind of work in the in-between, I guess. They're higher dimensional, and they are here to kind of coordinate and orchestrate this the light workers and where they're being dispersed and what they're carrying out to help shift the planet. So they work for, the greater universe and all this stuff, but they're really directly working with the souls that would be considered light workers that have agreed to come to this planet and help at this time. So what happens is we reach a certain point in our in-between and we start going through this process where we will meet with the council. And we'll go in and I want to just describe what this process is like. I'm going to describe the process and then I'm actually offering a workshop on the second Saturday in February. I believe it's February 10th, where I can take you through this process and you'll get to experience it for yourself. This is a deeper group regression, and you'll get to experience and take all of this information from this council that your soul may not be quite remembering right now. So it's really going to help you step into your purpose and your mission here in this lifetime. Okay, so you go meet with this council, and what it looks like for me, I'll just describe how I'm seeing it, or I have seen it, is it's like this. It's always all white, and there were these tables, and at each table there are these beings or these people who are higher dimensional. They kind of, seem like older souls, very wise older souls who are just taking in information. And it's like you're having a one-on-one meeting with them, and they're just asking about who you are, the types of lifetimes that you've had, the gifts that you've gathered, the lessons you've learned, and what your soul is really attracted to. So for someone, just as an example, let's say someone's really into sewing and they really like clothing and they're really into fabrics and things like that. And that's just something their soul really loves. And they like, adorning themselves in beautiful clothes and things like that. And maybe their soul has also learned how to channel or work with energies in a really beautiful way. And these are things that their soul really loves. So the Lightworkers Council, one of the council members who you're talking to is taking in all of this information, writing down what you do, taking notes of, okay, this is what your soul loves, this is what your soul is really good at and what it's drawn to. And it kind of is forming a role for you to take on and then come to earth and enact those roles in the collective. So they meet with everybody. I also believe there are what's called initiating classes. So it's not like they're meeting with everybody all at once. It's like certain souls are going through processes in the in-between, and they're all kind of reaching a certain point at the same time so they can come together and they're initiating classes. So it's not like all the light workers are meeting all at once and we're all incarnating at different times. So that has something to do with it too. So a lot of the souls that you may be end up grouping with, you probably incarnated around similar times, give or take a few years. You all kind of probably woke up around similar times, and you all probably have similar interests. I think there are categories that we're grouped into. So you're sharing this with the council members, then they all meet and they're like, okay, now let's group these people together. I met with Scott and he really likes sports. I met with Rashida and she's really into cooking. I met with April and she loves the clothing, like I mentioned. Okay, so how are we putting them all into these different categories? So, the person who likes sports is probably going to be more in like a initiating group who's into athletics, and that type of realm. Then there's going to be someone who's a little bit more into like, oh, sewing, crafting, that sort of thing, and design. And then there's the other person, okay, they're really into food and maybe herbalism and things like that. So they're kind of being put into categories, and it's for a reason because there's a lot of us. But we also want to be matched up with people in that arena. It doesn't mean like if you're a cook, you're going to be in a soul group with a bunch of other cooks, but it means that you're going to be grouped with people who are interested in that industry. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. So your soul explains who you are and what you are drawn to as a soul. The Lightworker Council takes this into consideration. They start grouping the souls into categories / initiating classes. They want to make sure you're all kind of lining up around the same time. So then after that, you kind of go into, I don't know what this is. It looked like a locker room to me after that. And it was like I'm kind of changing into like different clothes or like a uniform where my initiating class is all wearing the same kind of outfits, um, almost like gym clothes or something. And I remember sitting in this locker room and I'm looking at this pamphlet. So they gave me this paper or this little booklet. And in that booklet was a list of 3 different roles. So a lot of you who are light workers may be feeling right now as if um, it's like, well, the first part of my life, I was really into this sort of thing. I was like I said, maybe you were passionately into clothing and like fashion design. And then all of a sudden, it's like something just wasn't clicking there. Or maybe you're still doing it, but this other part of you started opening up, a more spiritual part of you when you started going through your awakening. So then it's like, okay, I'm into fashion design, but now there's something like going on with my hands. I feel like I'm an energy healer. I do Reiki, I do craniosacral, whatever it may be, and I can transmit energy and like energetic codes through my hands. It's like, oh, okay. And it's almost feeling like you're juggling these 2 things, trying to figure out, I don't know where I'm going anymore because it's like this is opening up, this other part of my life is closed, but it hasn't. So this booklet that I was holding, it's showing me the different roles that I'm experiencing in my life. And for some of us, it might be 3 roles. It might be more than that for others. Maybe some people it's just 1, but I really think it's like we're experiencing at least 2 different roles in like the first half of our life, or for, to a certain extent in our life. And then those roles are going to come together. So let's say you are fashion designer, energy healer, and then it becomes like entrepreneur. So, or business person. So what's going to happen in that 3rd role, maybe it's a 4th role, is you are bringing together almost like the practical world with the spiritual world. And that's the whole point of this light work, is that we are bridging the two worlds together. It's like we're taking the good from the 3D and bridging it with this higher dimensional part of ourselves, the spiritual self. So a lot of us who are light workers going through this awakening are probably realizing, oh, I have all these gifts. Like, do I have gifts? Maybe I should start exploring that. Oh, I'm a medium. Oh, I'm a channeler. Oh, I'm an intuitive. Oh, I like write these like higher dimensional types of writings, whatever it may be. You That's happening because you are bringing together the spiritual world with the more physical world. So, so you get these roles, you're going to look at the booklet. The booklet will have the title of these different roles. So like I said, it could say fashion designer, energy healer, and then the next role might be, again, business person, entrepreneur. And then it'll have a description underneath those roles of what that looks like for you and how it's kind of going to play out. And for me, what mine were, it felt very resonant. I was like, oh, okay. It just made so much more sense as to what my life has been, what's going on with it right now, and where it's leading to, and kind of feeling this like pull in all these different directions in my life. And it started to blend them together. So we're taking on a lot as light workers, whereas most people in the world probably maybe just do like one thing, and that might fan out into different areas, but they're kind of doing one thing their whole life. Where we're doing, it feels like multiple things, picking up all these tools, and we're bringing it all together for this other huge portion of our life. And that is the portion, to help build New Earth. So once you get this packet, you get in your gym clothes or whatever it may be, you then line up and you're going to what I would call the grand meeting, the Lightworkers Council. And again, this happens in initiating classes. So you're going to be grouped with people who are in like the industry that you're being put into. So if you're in fashion, you're going to be grouped with other people who are somehow lining up in that realm. So you're going to line up, and what it looked like to me was like a smaller stage. So that the actual like council grand meeting looked like a concert festival or something. There was a huge grand stage where it's like the whole event is happening. But like before you go to that stage, there's like your initiating class stage where you get your instructions of what's going to happen. You kind of have a little meet and greet with everyone in your initiating class. And when you do that, you might even recognize some people like, oh, I know this person. That's my friend. And, they own a boutique or whatever. And you're starting to recognize probably some people, and maybe not. Maybe you haven't met any of them yet. And and then you kind of receive your instructions of like how this is going to work. So you have that initial meeting, and then they let you into the grander stage, the grand meeting. And in that meeting, it's almost like I've seen it a few different ways. It looks like a big outdoor concert. It's looked like a grand, like a stadium, like a baseball stadium with a stage in the middle. But there's a stage in all of them. And the council members are sitting on the stage, and one of them is kind of leading this grand meeting. So when you get into the grand meeting, there is there's like breakout groups. So then you're broken into your like soul mission groups. And in these groups, it can be any number of people. For me, it was like 30 people. For others, when I've done this in my coaching program, some people it's like only 5 or 6 people, and other people it might be like 100. It just depends on what your soul has agreed to come do and build and shift. So when you meet in these little breakout groups, so you have the big grander initiating class, and then you have that initiating class is broken into different groups. So again, if you're in like, let's say fashion design, we're going with that example. In your group, there may be you who is like a seamstress or a fashion designer and you design clothing, and then in that clothing you're bringing in your energy work and like putting, you know, energy codes into the clothing that you're creating, and when people wear it, it's like they receive those energy codes. And in your soul group, you might have someone who is a boutique owner, and they're also an energy worker, and they put energy in the boutique, and they are looking to have, you know, like spiritual clothing in their store. So you'll meet up with them and then you start selling your clothing at their boutique. Then there might be someone in your group who also loves clothing, but they're really good at marketing, and they're a channeler, and they can channel really beautiful words and create this beautiful spiritual marketing in their writing, but they're also like really good at marketing. Like that's their physical gift. So these might be, and then so on and so forth. And maybe you have someone who's really great at finance, you know, and they're also a medium, and you know, and they're able to incorporate the physical gift that they have with the spiritual gift that they have, and that's the whole idea. And you're going to be matched up with people who are going to help you carry out your mission and create new earth physical implementations of the spiritual in the world. So I hope that makes sense. So then you will kind of look at your soul group. You'll understand, okay, we've all agreed to find each other in this lifetime and create this thing. And you can look at your soul group, this, I call it the soul mission group, because we have other soul groups, you know, like our soul family who we're really connected to. And some of your soul family may be in other initiating classes, like myself. I was in one initiating class, but I could feel my husband in another initiating class, but he's still part of my soul family. You know, there's a soul contracting connection there. So anyways, in our soul mission groups, you may look at them and recognize some of these people. Oh, I know who that is. I'm already friends with that person. Or maybe, oh, that's my brother. Or you may not recognize any of them, which means you have yet to meet them. So stepping more into what you're feeling guided and drawn to do will help you draw those people in, and you'll get to create what you're here to create. So you'll see the grander vision and of some steps of how to get there. And I think for me, it was just so helpful to understand these different roles and these different phases of my life and what's been going on and what I need to step into, because it's eventually leading to this other thing. The combination of these roles is leading to a grander thing and creating this new earth and my light work. So once you do that, then you kind of you'll get called on to stage in your groups, and you're going to declare, okay, this is how what we're deciding we're going to go do, and how we're going to help build new earth and shift the planet. And you're declaring how you're going to do that, and it's almost like you bring that energy into your heart, and you might get into a little more detailed like nooks and crannies of how you're going to bring that forward in the world. And it's almost like you're making a pledge on stage in front of everybody, and like making it so. So then once that happens, you kind of like seal the deal. You've met with your people, you've met your soul mission group, you have your Lightworkers Council guides that you can connect with. Those are the members of the council that you've probably talked with and worked with and have led you through this process. And that's kind of the gist of it. But this has been really helpful for me to understand, oh, this is why I'm here. Now I understand what I need to do. Now I understand why my life has gone the way it has. And my awakening makes more sense. And it's just been a really beautiful process to experience. So if you would like to experience this, I am offering it on the second Saturday in February. You can head to my site or the link in my bio to sign up for that workshop. And if you can't make it live, you will receive a link of the recording, so it is accessible to everybody. It's just been really incredible to experience this and know that, oh, I did plan this all out. I know how it's supposed to go. And I feel like for a lot of us, it feels like such a mystery of, why am I here? What's my mission? What am I supposed to be doing? So anyways, I hope I can see you there for our group regression into the life between lives and the Lightworkers Council. And let's get you some answers on how to step into your mission and why you're here, and to start fulfilling your light work and meeting the soul mission. group that you are supposed to connect with and help build the new on planet Earth. Thank you so much for being here. I will catch you next time. And if this resonated with you, throw a comment in the comment section, share with a friend, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you soon.